everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we have a brand new set of questions for IELTS speaking, so let's get started. Part 1. Do you like chatting with friends? I'd say generally yes, but there are times when I just like to be left alone, especially if I have been to, a large event. Not necessarily a large event, but if I've been talking to a lot of people, I kind of feel touched out, burnt out in a way. Not negatively, I just need time alone to recharge my social battery. But I have a few, very few close friends, and it's always fun to talk to them, to interact, to share what's going on in your life. I find it's essential. It's also very healthy, of course, because when you're younger, of course, it's very easy to make friends, right? But when you get older, you kind of learn to value the friendships that you have. So, yeah. What do you usually chat about with your friends? So, every single thing under the sun. There really is no topic that's off limits. Of course, this depends on what kind of friends you're talking about because, there's always these categorizations, right? You have friends like really close friends, best friends, people you've known for years. You're really, thick as thieves with them. Then you've got casual friends, friends of friends, you've got acquaintances, you've got colleagues. So obviously you don't talk about the same stuff with all of them, but again, like I said, I have a very small circle. So there really is nothing that is off limits. Usually though, there's some kind of meme that I like to share or some kind of world event that has occurred and then we discuss. I really love discussing world news, philosophy, politics, things like that, world views, ideas, stuff like that with friends. So yeah. Do you prefer to chat with a group of people or with only one friend? Group chats can be fun, but I like the intimacy that you have with one on one conversations, right? Because you can really give your attention and your time to that person. And likewise, that person can also give you their full attention and time. So it's not like, with a group chat, you're not talking to each other, you're just talking about something, sharing your opinions, right? But one-on-one conversations, I think that really is where you actually build your friendship, right? You get to know each other. You can share things with your friend that you maybe would not share with the larger, bigger group. Because of course, a group has all kinds of people. Some of them you might really be close to. Some of them might just be friends of friends, like I said. Do you prefer to communicate face to face or via social media? Now, the thing is that I live someplace where traveling is just a total pain in the neck. And so social media is really a savior for me. That's where I would say 90% or more of my conversations happen. But I really do appreciate being able to see someone in real life, going out with them, just feeling their presence around you, right? I don't think Skype or WhatsApp or Facebook can really beat that. But at the same time, it's very tiring for me to go out. Like, every month, for example, I have to go to the orthodontist, and it just takes all the energy out of me. And the entire day, I'm just sick. I have a headache from traveling. The next day as well, I'm completely. So, you know how I love going out, but it's also, I know my limits. I know it's very tiring. But of course, it's different if your friends live close to you, then of course, that's a different thing. But that's usually not the case when you're an adult. Yeah. Okay, let's go on to part 2. Okay, here's our question. Describe a noisy place you have been to. You should say where it is, when you went there, what you did there, and explain how you felt about that place. Oh my god, so this is literally this happened just, I think, not even a week ago. So this happened on Monday. Monday I had an orthodontist appointment and obviously there's like what's funny is like there's literally dozens of dentists in my area, but I had to go all the way to like the other side of the city to find a great rock star orthodontist. Anyway, that's like, so it's far, right? And I have to take the metro. Sometimes I take the taxi, but then it's like taxis are really slow because my city is like, there's too many people, there's too much traffic all the time. So you basically have two options. You can use the train, the metro, or you can use the normal, suburban railway network. So I usually go by the metro because it's really quick, it's super convenient. I love it. It's cool. There's not too many people. I just love it. But then there's also like when we come back, right? Because I go with my mom, and she doesn't like it makes her feel claustrophobic. So like, you're in this metal tube and it's all closed, and she doesn't like that. So I proposed, okay, why not just, let's take the normal, train. Now the normal train in my city, there's tons and tons of people. There's no breathing space. It's like super jam-packed almost all the time, except in the afternoon. But the thing is that though we hadn't used the normal trains in like years. And so I was not prepared for just how many people, how much noise. I mean, so many people talking about so many things, all these train announcements going off. And then we had to like walk so much as well because, I had to buy the ticket and you couldn't do it online. And then there were all these issues. It's so funny now thinking about it, but it was hell considering that we're kind of in the middle of this weird season between the monsoon and the winter. So anyway, we get into the train, right? And we're like, okay, phew, finally we're inside the train compartment and we find a place. But then people just start, the train itself, right? It takes off and it's writing, right? It's going off. It's so loud. I had my earphones in. I always listen to music when I'm outside. So I had my earphones in, and yet I could barely hear the music, even though my volume was like 95% or something. I could barely hear the music because the train itself was so loud. And I'm not talking about the people. I'm just talking about in general, the whole movement. And then on top of that, there's people who's just they're chit-chatting, they're talking. They have like no concern about the fact that there's people next to me. And so one of them was talking so loudly, my mom had to tap her on the shoulder and just, please, could you maybe talk in a bit of a quieter, softer voice? Because, I have a headache. And, thankfully she obliged, but that was just one person. There were so many others in there who were all like, talking about their day and about how they need to go home and make lunch or whatever. It was not a good experience. I would definitely not do that again because I was sick the entire day when I came back home, and the next day as well, I had no energy whatsoever. So, my God, I appreciate, like, I used to, of course, use the train when I was younger, but then, when you're younger, you have a lot more just ability to endure things. But as you get older, you're like, oh, I cannot do it. I'm too old for this crap. I just can't do it anymore. So yeah, I'm not. It was, I mean, it was not like a bad experience. It was just frustrating. Yeah, it was really frustrating. Okay, right. Let's get on with part three. Do you think cities are becoming noisier? I can't speak for all cities across the world, right? But I can speak for my own city, and I do feel like it has gotten, like I said, I had that train experience, and it was so noisy, and I was a bit shocked myself because, I mean, when I was in college, 5 years, I used the trains every single day, and I don't know why, but it felt very, very different. Like there's too many people, there's more people now. There's also just generally more vehicles and more construction and more this and more that, and it's just very frustrating going outside. So yes, I will say that my city is definitely becoming a lot more noisier. I honestly don't understand how people can deal with it. I don't go out much. I'm kind of a homebody. I'm kind of a recluse in a way as well. I get all my deliveries and etc. and everything at home, so I barely leave. Again, I work from home as well. I'm very lucky. I admit that. I'm very privileged in that regard. But yeah, it's just because I cannot tolerate being outside, and it's a shame because there's so many things to do outside. I genuinely do love, but the noise is just unbearable. And it's not just me, I read a lot of, comments online, Instagram, Reddit, Facebook, etc. And people are, complain that, hey, what's going on with this city? Things are just going out of control. In your opinion, will the level of noise increase in the future? I mean, I don't want to sound pessimistic, but, given like my history and what I've seen happen, I do feel like there might be the possibility. But then when I think about it a bit more realistically, I also realize that people are becoming more sensitive. People are becoming kind of more, well, they're just realizing that, hey, it's not okay to be overly noisy, that we need to have respect for, the fellow person around us, right? Like for example, in my country we have lots and lots of festivals. People love celebrating them. And usually, of course, there's always, loudspeakers and, bursting crackers and everything. So that used to be a really big thing a couple years, I mean, in my childhood, yeah. But lately people have, like I said, people are becoming sensitive, so they are realizing that, hey, okay, too much noise isn't really a good thing. But at the same time, like I said, the city in general, places in general, there's more and more people every time. There's more vehicles, there's more construction. Like, how can construction ever really end, right? Because our population worldwide is growing, we're expanding. So in general, I think at least for the foreseeable future, yes, I do think noise levels will probably increase. What are the effects of loud noise? Oh, as a victim, as someone who like really suffers because of noise, I mean, I might just have misophonia, but uh, I think it makes you, well, it makes me, I'll talk about myself, right? Because in general, I know that this is something that I've experienced, that it makes you angry. It makes you really angry. It makes you frustrated. You cannot really concentrate on what you're doing. I mean, some people can, but like many people do have a problem if there's, sometimes it's just like, and I live in a pretty good area. There's not much noise here, but sometimes you hear like a car go by and you're like, oh, I just like can't stand the noise. So over time, in fact, loud noise, not even just like regular noise, but loud noise will kind of, there's been studies that kind of show that people's anxiety levels, their blood pressure levels rise, and that's not, obviously that's not healthy. So you have that, you've got health, literally actual health problems, not just like, oh, I got frustrated, I got upset, I got angry. No, there's actual health problems that people suffer from because of loud noise. So, it's a shame that we don't consider noise pollution as bad as water pollution, air pollution, soil pollution, etc. It is pretty bad. It does have this really bad mental, but also, physical effect. You think noise pollution can affect people's health? Oh, that's like literally what I said. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I think so. Because again, all these, I've experienced it myself. Background noises, even, like water tanks, for example, these huge tanks that large buildings usually have. There's this sound that goes off at 10 a.m. and I'm always like, it's like it's background noise, but you will, I feel it, at least I feel it, and it's very frustrating because I cannot think in peace. I need like total silence. Like right now my room is silent. There is the fan going on, which I kind of find annoying, to be very honest with you. But yeah, because you need to be able to think, right? And you have this, like I said, there's this constant, like feeling of not being at peace, and that will absolutely lead to, and again, I'm not the only one, because I know so many people who have the same problems with, background noise, and in many places, especially, in my city and a few others, noise is like tolerated. People think it's normal. People think it's okay, which I don't think that should be the case. I think people should, they are becoming more sensitive, like I said, but there's so many people, right? And not all of them have, they're not all of them have the same views. So it's definitely a problem for our health, but it's more of those, it's something that happens over the long term. It's not a short term thing, right? Like for example, you stub your toe and it hurts you. That's like an immediate reaction, right? But the damage that noise pollution causes is a more long term thing. It's very, like, you don't notice it. It's like gum disease, right? You only realize you have a problem when you lose your tooth, and that like happens 10, 15, 20 years later after the onset of gum disease. So that was a weird tangent. Right. All right. Well, that was it for today. What I want to know from you is if you've got any kind of feedback whatsoever. Like, I really want to know, what kind of content would you want me to create? Any tips you have for the speaking tests? Or if there's any other kind of content you want to see from me, please let me know down in the comment section below. And of course, don't forget to like the video if it's been useful. And if you haven't subscribed yet already, well, what are you waiting for? Just go ahead and do it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.